Hey fam, welcome back. Tisha here, back for another recap of Seeking Sister Wife. This is season 6, episode 11, Defenders of the Universe. I originally did not plan being on camera, but this is what looks like the final episode of this season. So here I am. It happened so quickly. I really got into this show, so thanks to you guys for recommending it for me. So let's just go ahead and get into this. Do me a favor, like the video, hype it up, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Because although this is done for now, there are other things that you can check out on my channel. Let's go ahead and just begin with the first set of people that are on my list, which is the Davises. So we find out that after Teresa left the Davises' house, when they tried to talk with her and have that discussion about how she was feeling, she left saying that she needed time to think. Well, as she thought, she realized that this situation is just not going to work out. They are relieved because, in their words, Teresa caused a lot of issues in their home within the last 8 to 9 months, and it caused a lot of negativity. And they're just happy to kind of like reset. I know that I don't care for Pimp Daddy Nick, but I will say that the system that they have with just April, Nick, and Jennifer does seem to work for them. And if Teresa is causing all this unnecessary tension, then she should go. My only problem with them is that Nick already knew who Teresa was. So I don't know why he's so surprised by some of her feelings if he supposedly is like her best friend and knew all these things about her. So, Madam April lets us know that Teresa has a problem taking accountability for her bad actions. And at this point, she doesn't know if Teresa saying that she's coming back to talk to them and pick up the rest of her things is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm confused about the Teresa having bad actions part. Like, what did she do other than what we saw, which was her speaking negatively about herself, her having a low self-esteem, and her not wanting to talk at certain points? Like, what else was going on that we weren't made privy to? So Teresa arrives and they have her boxes waiting for her in that garage. It's like they didn't even want her to go past go. She says to them that she feels stupid and she begins to cry. They, of course, embrace her when she first walks up. She says she knows that she has done some soul searching, and there's some things that she says she knows she needs to do some soul searching, and that there's some things that she needs to do, some work that she needs to do before she can love anyone else. She gets that she's been a burden and she's sorry for that. Nick tells her, like, look, because he's so happy she's getting out of there. There's no bad feelings. We're not mad at you at all for the way that things developed. I personally feel like at some point Nick was mad at her. You were saying a whole bunch of things in confessional and you said things last week on the couch. But I guess now that you're in front of her face, you're piping down a little bit, Nick. I did notice that. You guys tell me what you think. So Teresa feels like, she will never find anyone else to love her the way that the Davises did. And she cries about it a little bit. And I just really want Teresa to do more than soul search. Get some help, because this is so much deeper than this relationship. This has to do with the things that Teresa has been through. She tells Nick that he is her best friend and she begins to cry and he's hugging her. And once again, you could just see the significant height difference as he lays his head on her chest. They're embracing. And after they embrace, she tells Jenny that she never meant to put her through additional stress in her pregnancy. And Jenny's like, she understands. Nick says, look, because Teresa is owning up to the part that she played in all of this, it may be possible for them to be friends. I personally feel like they couldn't get her out of there fast enough. They all hug and say that they love her. Teresa tells us that she does not regret being with them, that even though she does not love herself, she loves them and she's going to focus on herself and her son. It broke my heart that she feels that way about herself, that she doesn't love herself. That is very, very important that she works on that. So we later go back to the Davis household and it's back to its carefree state. We see their son William heading off to senior prom. The Davises say no matter what happens, nothing is going to sway what they have together. At this point, it's just going to be the three of them and their kids, but they will start seeking again once they are more settled with the new baby. So Nick says only certain people can be a part of Voltron. If you remember, he described before that he feels like his family is Voltron and he needs those arms and those legs and stuff to get him working. And Teresa and Dannielle just weren't it. So once everything comes together, they can try to be defenders of the universe again. He says that he still enjoys this journey, even when it doesn't work out. And either way, their family's going to be good. Ending them for now till we do the update. All right. Let's just go ahead and get them out the way. Because I was going to go in order of the most drama, but y'all know me. I'm going to just keep it what it is. Hopefully, you'll stay to the end. Okay, y'all, this one's a little tricky. Garrick, Dannielle, and Lorena. I'm going to just go ahead and say that I'm looking at this situation completely differently when it comes to Garrick, Dannielle, and Lorena because of what is currently out there about Garrick and this DV situation with Lorena, even as far as him threatening to have her deported. Now, we find out in this episode that Lorena is pregnant. They're not talking at all about the arrest and about the allegations of DV. I do not know the full circumstances of the situation, but in seeing the excitement with her finding out that she is pregnant to what we know now, I find myself being very irritated. I was annoyed every time I saw his smirk, every time I saw his face, every time I saw this manipulative being on my screen, I found myself being irritated. So I'm going to try to approach this by talking about what we are seeing currently on the screen. So Dannielle and Lorena embrace as they find out that Lorena is indeed pregnant. Lorena can't believe it. She's smiling, but she's telling us that she is shaking. She told us that she was surprised at how quickly she got pregnant. She said that she wanted to enjoy marriage more. She wanted to enjoy being in the United States more. She wanted to study and learn English and all these other things, but she is calling this God's plan. Y'all, they love tossing God in it when it's convenient. I just feel like y'all weren't utilizing protection. Garrick was trying to get you pregnant. Garrick wanted to make sure that he has a way to stay attached to you, and getting you knocked up will definitely make it harder for you to vacate should you try to leave, especially if you have his baby. Now, even though she is nervous, she is happy about it because she says she always wanted to be a mother. Danny tells her that she's going to get fat and then jokes about her having twins. The ladies decide that rather than waiting for Garrick to come back from his trip to Wisconsin, where he's helping doing these renovations, they're going to tell him that she's pregnant via a care package. To me, a care package means that you have other things in there. I don't know, like lotions and goodies and stuff like that. Not a baby announcement. But we see them head out and they have this box and this black and gold balloon that says congratulations. No, it says let's celebrate. Yeah, it says let's celebrate. And we see Elena writing something and putting some stuff in the box. So they mail it to Wisconsin. Now, Dannielle lets her brother Sam know, look, you're going to get a package. Make sure that you record it and that you video call us once the package is there and have him open it. So we see them sitting down, watching on the video call as Garrick is looking at this package. Their daughter Garrick and Dannielle's daughter says dad in Portuguese. I think that it is so dope that Lorena is teaching her well, I'm gonna call her daughter because that's what they're calling her daughter, which it is her daughter because she's legally married. I think it's dope that she's teaching her daughter, their youngest child, how to speak her language, because when they're little it's so much easier to teach them certain things. They're like sponges that soak it up, right? So he opens the package, and the balloon that had helium in it is flat because it took longer to get there than expected. He did not even pay any attention to the fact that the balloon said, "Let's celebrate." So he's going through the package and he sees little booties, little baby booties, little sock looking shoes. And in the package, he still doesn't get that. So he keeps going. And then he sees the actual pregnancy stick is in there. And he tells us in that moment that he's surprised. But then later on in confession, he tells us he wasn't surprised. Anyways, in the moment, he's surprised. And he begins to do that fake cry that he does where he is getting really emotional. He's talking about how special it is and that this is what he dreamed of. Do y'all believe the cry? Because part of me feels like it's performative, but you guys tell me what you think down below. So he says, God did this because God said through childbearing, women are saved. I said, what? He said that God uses that to change a woman's heart and he perfects her. What the hell is he talking about? And how does he save you if that's how he saves a woman? I just feel like Garrick is just a pile of crap. And he just says whatever he thinks, and then he uses things out of context, and it's annoying. So we go from Lorena just finding out that she's pregnant and announcing it to Garrick to her now being 20 weeks. So she's 20 weeks pregnant, and they're having a gender reveal party. She talks about how all of this is a whirlwind and she's having all of these emotions and all of these feelings, but she's thankful that her family has been patient with her, especially because with her pregnancy, her emotions are heightened. So we hear one of Garrick's sons say that to him now, with the time that has gone by and with how Lorena is, that she really does now feel like family. As usual, you got Dannielle baby talking to Lorena left and right. And you have Sam and Samantha now having gotten closer to Lorena. Sam originally, I felt like he was being a jerk. But now in thinking about it, I think that Sam was just trying to make sure that his family was protected because he sees the type of person that Garrick and his sister are. Well, Garrick is and his sister is. And I feel like he wanted to make sure that his family was good. But it seems like Sam has warmed up to Lorena because we see him joking about, the size of her belly and things of that nature. And he even admits that they have gotten closer to her. So, who is it? I can't remember. Dannielle is talking. Oh, okay. Dannielle thinks it's gonna be a girl. She says me think it's gonna be a girl because she likes to do that baby talk thing. And Lorena corrects her and she says, "No, it's not me think, sister. You're supposed to say, I think." I said, "Well done, Lorena. Teach her how to talk to you because I'm tired of the baby talk when you're talking to her. The girl isn't stupid. She just speaks another language. And it seems like she is picking up some English." So Lorena tells us that in the beginning, she thought that it was definitely a girl. But after seeing the ultrasound and seeing how strong the baby looked, she's now thinking it's a boy. Samantha saw the same thing and she thinks that it's a boy too. This is so anticlimactic for me though, because we all know what it is at this point. Garrick lets us know that God told him it was a girl. God sure does speak to Garrick a lot. I've read stories in the Bible where people didn't hear from God at all. Yet Garrick is this special chosen vessel that gets to hear from God all the time. It just amazes me. I feel like sometimes we say things are God that aren't God. Sometimes it's just us telling ourselves these things. And he very much so is telling himself things and putting it on God. But let's continue. So rather, because what they did was they got cupcakes, and the cupcakes are supposed to reveal what the gender of the baby is. Now, most people, if the baby was a girl, would have had all pink cupcakes, but that's not what they did. They did this little eeny miny mo type of situation with the cupcakes because they don't know which cupcake has the reveal in it. They just know one of the cupcakes is going to have pink or blue, which is confusing when you have blue icing and things of that nature on top of the cupcake. But we see a whole bunch of people taking turns trying to eat a cupcake. And we finally, after multiple attempts, see that it's a girl. So Lorena and Dannielle are so excited and they're hugging each other. And Lorena is crying and she eventually hugs Garrick and kisses him as she's crying. And he says it's a baby girl. And Lorena's like, yeah, it's a big baby girl. And they laugh about it. She says she never imagined being married to a man that has other wives. The way that she is living is different than she thought it would be, but she feels like whether it's good times or bad times, that is good for her growth. I was listening to her say this. I just can't help but think about how she is now. I hope she's okay. She's grateful because from now on, God has her life under control. Um, Dannielle says that, her having this baby makes it real. So flying her in from another country didn't do that. And having her meet your family didn't do that. And having her move into your home didn't do that. And sleeping with your husband didn't do that. And sharing a room with her once a week on Garrick's off night didn't do that. Having her marry him didn't do that. That wasn't real enough. It took her getting pregnant in order for it to be real. So she says no matter what happens, there will always be a baby, but she hopes that they will remain together and grow old. Lorena is ready to go shopping for little girl clothes and all those other things. And she can't even really enjoy the moment before Garrick is talking about how they're still looking for another wife. Are they still looking for another wife or are you? Because you have all these plans that it seems the other women aren't ready for or haven't been made privy to. Now, Lorena tells us and them she is not comfortable yet because all of this is still new to her. She's concerned about how it's going to be having another child in the home because she feels like her time with Garrick is going to be limited even more than it already is. Now, he isn't trying to hear it. He tries to act like he's acknowledging it, saying, I understand what you're saying, but he then quickly flips it to, it we're called by God. I'm getting this calling, from God that we have to keep seeking, and I personally feel like if God really wanted this for them, then would they really have to keep seeking, or would it be a thing where they would just meet women naturally, especially since you're on TV? Like there's plenty ways that people can reach out to your family. So he then tells production that if there's going to be another woman for him and it's from another country, then what's going to have to happen more than likely is that Dannielle is going to have to marry her. And Dannielle is looking like she's taken aback by this because Garrick has once again made a decision without consulting her. She is bothered by this. I said, oh, he's trying to be like the Davises. He wants to be like Nick, where Nick got women marrying women so that he don't have to do it. So he says, look, it's because I don't know how long I would have to wait until, I can get divorced from Lorena and for her to still be able to live in this country. It would probably take 5 or 10 years. And I just feel like we're going to get another wife before that. Dannielle did not hear this until now, and she is visibly shaken. She got that look on her face. Her eyes are getting watery, and she's watering. She tells production that she thought it would be a couple years and that Lorena could get divorced like she did. So she ends up crying and walking off. Garrick then says, married life has its struggles, especially when you do it God's way. What in the world? Especially when you do it God's way? I feel like he talks out the side of his neck. Lorena, take your baby and run, girl. Take the baby and run. Cause he ain't nah. It is not okay. It is not okay at all. You got to get as far as you can from that man. All right, let's talk about these people. So, Angelica is using her family's reaction as an excuse to meet up with Chené, talking about how not having her mother's support hurts. Angelica got on my nerves by the end of all of this because whether your mother was ready to jump on board, she did tell you that she would be there for her. She didn't even give her a chance to kind of marinate on this, but she already knew her mother's stance. So she says, now I need my best friend. I just felt like she should have found another one. I just not buying that she just had friendly feelings towards Chené. I don't know if they were more than that, but as I said previously, it's giving that, and it's giving that Angelica is into Chené more than Chené is into Angelica. So we find out it's been a whole week, y'all. It's been a whole week, and she is crying and acting all depressed because Chené and her only text one time. Girl, get a life. How do you have time to even think about this woman when you got two little kids and a husband at home and work? I'm just confused. So Chené comes in trying to act like she's the victim because Angelica didn't tell her about the date. Chené, you didn't tell her or her husband about the man that you were seeing and then sleeping with until way after you slept with him. So I don't get how Chené is taking this stance like somebody owes her an apology. But Chené sits down and Chené is like, the train ride, it was a lot. I went from being excited to see Matt to being upset that you decided to meet that lady. So Angelica is sitting there looking like someone who's getting scolded by a parent. And she begins to plead her case, saying that she told Matt that they shouldn't do it and that she didn't even feel like they were done with Chené and that she was only there to keep an eye on things and to watch Matt. Girl, you are married. You sound foolish. Like it's like she was ready to toss her man under the bus just to make sure she maintains interactions with this girl. So Janae says, I'm angry, Angelica, and I'm done with Matt. But you and I were you and I. I said, okay, once again, here y'all go, making it sound like it's more than a friendship. Do I think that they're friends? Yes. But I feel like there was some crushing or something else going on around there. Y'all let me know. So her response is to start crying, and she says she doesn't know what she needs to do, but she'll do whatever it takes, that she's sorry and she loves her and she doesn't want to hurt her. Oh my gosh, Angelica, get some self-worth, please, please, and some friends. So Shanae says, seeing Angelica hurting like that did make my anger go away. So she tells her it's going to take time because when someone lies in a relationship, you have to regain that trust. This is why I said a couple episodes ago that Chené is playing games, because Chené is sitting there acting like she's Miss Goody Two Shoes, like she didn't lie about having some type of relationship and or interaction with another guy to them as well. She had been seeing this man and sleeping with this man to the point where that man asked her to not have any physical involvement with Matthew while they tried to figure out their situation. So how is it that she never got called out for that? I'm just saying. So she accepts Angelica's apology, tell her she's focused on her new man and that her and Angelica can be friends. So they hug and do a toast to us. Chené is done with the poly relationship. She said that only worked for the two of them. She has no desire to do it anymore. Yeah, Chené, because that you're with a man, right? You with another person, right? You're gonna focus on him, right? Duh. Um, so we later see it's a new day. Matt is glad that Chené and Angelica are still friends. Angelica feels like this has been a successful situation because they learned a lot about each other and the lifestyle. Matthew regrets not letting his guard down sooner. Angelica tells us polygamy is about deep connection you can have with someone. It's not just about sex. She wants to move forward and try again, this time with someone that lives a lot closer to them. There is no rush, but the hope is that they get out there again. They say that they do not want any more kids, but they do want to add to the family and they want to find their person. Angelica is just happy that she has a best friend that she can call sister. Womp, womp, womp. Let's get to the final couple and then we'll do the updates. So, our final couple, are they up here? Oh, okay, there they go. I was about to say, I don't have them up here. What did I do? Our final couple is Reese and Billie Jean, the least problematic couple of the whole season. So they're getting ready to do a garden on another piece of land that they own. It's been in Billie Jean's family for a long time. It's another acre of land. This is the land where they intend to build a sister wife compound with her home in one spot on that land and the sister wife's home on another. It's been a few weeks and they both are still in communication with Randy. The ladies are doing things like sending videos here and there, and Reese is talking to her here and there with the goal for them to at some point live closer to each other. Now, Billie Jean does not want them, whoever the sister wife is, to live in the same house because she isn't trying to hear or see all of that. By that, I think she's meaning the intimacy. And Reese is just hoping that Billie Jean gets to a point where it will not be an issue. But Billie Jean is showing signs that jealousy would get to her. He sees that she's not as confident as she was. And she admits, like, look, it's going to be an adjustment, but I think I'll be okay. We just got to work through it one day at a time. And that's it. That's it for them. So let's do the updates. All right. Let me go back to the main page so I don't have to flip all over the place. Okay. So here are our updates. Our updates go as follows. The Davises have had the arrival of baby Charlene on May the 28th, 2005. Teresa has been trying to get back with the pimp. I said, girl, he made it abundantly clear that he doesn't want her. They said that she's been trying to get back with him several times, reconcile several times, but they don't want her. April and Jenny have actually been talking to a new woman. And guess what, y'all? This woman is also friends with Teresa. Is the place that y'all live in that small that you have to get a friend of Teresa's? Let me find out. The next season, we're going to have Teresa trying to pop up on screen and fight the girl. I don't know. So we see Angelica and her family are still working on their relationship. Her mom is struggling to be supportive of polygamy. Angelica and Chené are still very close friends. And Matthew is dating a new woman that he hopes to introduce to Angelica soon. So in the middle, we see Danny and Yesel. They're going to do a vow renewal ceremony for next year. So I guess that was to answer the questions on whether they're legitimately married or not, because some people were questioning it. Neither one of them have spoken to Jackie, and they, excuse me, and they are still seeking. I want to hear from Jackie if neither one of them are still speaking, because it's given that Yesel would speak if he could. Billie Jean and Reese are doing another round of IVF. Things did not work out with Randy. She split with them. I don't think it ever really started. And then we know that Sarah was born to the Merrifields back on July 3rd, 2025. The family continues to seek despite Lorena's apprehension, and Dannielle's uneasy about marrying the next sister wife, and she's hoping that they find someone in America. They, of course, did not add that old boy, Mr. Garrick, got arrested. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull that up and see what we can find. Give me a moment as I look for that. All right, you guys, I shall try to read this article from here. See, yeah, this is, woo. Let me make it so that I can see what y'all are looking at. Okay. It says, no thanks. All this different stuff. I hate when all these things are open. This is why sometimes I just read it from my phone. Look, see? Thank you. Okay, here we go. Seeking Sister Wife star Garrick Merrifield arrested for alleged domestic V. He was charged with misdemeanor domestic V, police say. Oh, he thinks he's cute here, huh? What do you need to know? He was arrested, police say, in Colorado. He is facing a misdemeanor domestic V charge, according to police. Okay, Sister Wife star Garrick Merrifield was arrested in Colorado and is facing a domestic V charge. Merrifield was arrested on charges of misdemeanor DV and obstructing telephone services. What? Telephone services. Online records indicate that Garrick has since been released from custody after being booked on November 24th. It is not immediately clear if he has entered a plea or retained an attorney. Just a week before his arrest, they announced the birth of the daughter. Okay, we know all of this. This ain't really giving me what I thought it was going to give. I personally feel like I can get that off of the screen just to show y'all I ain't making it up. There it is. He got arrested. I'm sure there's way more than this um online, because you know how that goes. They ain't talking about it on Reddit. They always talk about it on Reddit. Let's see. Oh Lord, he threatened to call ICE. Oh! He threatened to call ICE on his wife before his own arrest. Are you serious? What? Here's the thing. Um, Maybe I'll leave this information down below because I haven't read it and I don't want to be saying things that I'm not too sure of. Either way, something is going on, and I hope that Lorena is protected. I don't know the situation with the climate that we're in. I hope that she isn't separated from her baby and that she is in a safe place. Dannielle, be careful. Be careful, because if he did it to her, he'll do it to you too. Or maybe he's already done it to Dannielle. I don't know. I hope not. But yeah. Anyways, you guys, let me know your thoughts on this season. How would you rate it overall? And how do you feel about this newest information regarding Garrick? Thank you guys so much for rocking with me. Until next time, peace.